Alright guys, I wanted to talk about background images real quick since we haven't had a chance to talk about those in other videos in any type of depth. Um, Background images are really cool in CSS because you can get all kinds of really cool effects done if you use the right images and you write the code properly. The other thing about background images that's cool is that they repeat in different directions, and I'll tell you how to set that up and how to turn off repeat. And I'll show you some examples here in a second. So this is basically what the value looks like for an image. Alright, just the URL, the parentheses, and then the location of the file. And I'll break it down for you guys in a minute here. But I just want to show you real quick, so my mouse catches up here. In case you've never seen this ../, all that means, it means is it's going up one level in the folder structure to look for an images folder and then the logo.png. Alright, so in the previous video you might have seen me just type in images./logo.png, but because this CSS file is in its own folder, I need to go up one level first, which is what that is, then look for an images folder, then look for a file. Okay, and I'll show you in the directory what I mean by that. So my CSS file lives inside of a folder called CSS, right? So it lives in here. Now, if I were to just write, let me move this here so you can see these side by side, it might make more sense. If I were to just write images, oops, let me select this here, /logo.png, my folder structure, because of where this CSS file is located, so this is all relative to where this CSS file is located, is going to look for an images folder and then a logo.png, so it wouldn't work. So I just refreshed it so you can see it didn't work, right? The background image disappeared. So in order for it to work, I need to add the .. right? So let me have my mouse catch up here. So in relation to where this CSS file is right now, it's looking for a folder called images that doesn't exist in relation to where this is now, and then it's looking for that image and it doesn't exist, so it's not there, right? So what I need to do is add the .. to have to go up one level, then look for the images folder. So it's over here on the left hand side, it makes sense, right? So from my CSS folder, go up one level to my root folder, then look for the images folder, and then go find the image, which is right here. Okay, I'm going to use that logo image as my background image, so it's going to be really ugly, but there you go. Okay, so now it's found it, and like I told you, the background image likes to repeat, and it only takes up as much space as the image size. So the image size is really just that box there, and it's just repeating left and repeating down and up. Okay, so let's go play with the properties to fix this this mess here. This is a really ugly example of a background image, but it'll do for our example here. So my mouse catch up here. Alright, so let's go back to the CSS. So I've installed my background image, right? And it's working, obviously, because we can see it across the entire body of the web browser. But I want a little more control over this. So the other thing I want to show you is that the background color here, you can have a background color and a background image, both. They do not override each other, right? So my image happens to be transparent, so if I change the background color, I can see through it, okay? So you can play with how that works, right? Because you don't need to take up space in your image with that black. It could just be part of the background itself. So anyway, just wanted to show you real quick that you can use both a background color and an image combined. You can get some really cool effects that way. Alright, so back to our image itself here. We need to have a little more control over what it's doing. So I'm going to show you the next property here. And I'm talking way faster than I originally recorded this, apparently. Alright, so background repeat is the next property we're going to learn. Okay, so this controls whether a background repeats and which direction it repeats in. Typically it starts from the top left. Right, so if I say no repeat and I just close this, it's going to stop repeating. It's only going to appear in the top left hand corner. Okay. I could also tell it to repeat in one direction, so I can tell it to repeat -x. Okay, and save that. Let's go see what it does. And if you remember from your math classes, the x and y chart, right? X and y is left and right, and y is up and down. That's what repeat x means. Okay, so right now it's only repeating in one direction. Alright. And of course you can repeat in Y. Alright, so up and down. And there you go. And again, this is a horrible example of an image to play with, but if you are good at graphics, you can get some really cool effects doing this. And we can do repeat both, which is the default, so you wouldn't really need to use this. But there you go. Okay. So that's basically it for the basics on background images. There's one more property, but we'll talk about that one later. Hey guys, one more thought. I ended that video and I realized I wanted to throw this out real quick. I use that logo as my background image just as an example. I'm not actually going to use that logo as a background image, and I'm not going to insert my logo in the layout that I've been showing you as a background image. I'm going to insert it as an actual image. I just use it as an example because I didn't have a background set up for that website yet. If you go back at the other videos, and when you see the next videos, I'll show you the layout again. I didn't create a background for it. So yeah, I just want to mention that don't get confused as to why I was using my logo as a background. I won't be using it as a background in the actual website moving forward. I just didn't have a file set up for you guys to show you an example, so I just went with that. And I figured it was ugly background and you would see it work, so that's why I went with it. Alright, so in case I confused anyone, don't worry. I will add a actual background to the Photoshop file, and then I'll use it again in a later video, see it work properly. Okay? So hopefully that clears up any confusion if you had any moving forward. Alright? That's it for this video. Thanks, guys.